I speak to you today with feelings of profound sorrow.
Very sad news. Prince Harry expected another routine message connected to the royal family, but nothing could have prepared him for what happened next. Deep inside a highly protected royal archive, an old document revealed that Princess Diana had left behind a sealed personal letter meant only for Harry. The instructions attached to that letter were astonishing. It was not supposed to be opened unless a serious separation ever developed between Harry and Prince William. The moment Harry realized those conditions now matched his own life, he was left speechless. Everyone around him understood that a forgotten chapter from the past had suddenly returned with incredible force. The document showed an official archive reference dating back to December 1996. According to the records, Princess Diana had personally placed a sealed letter into the royal archive with very specific instructions. She wanted it delivered only if her younger son ever became deeply estranged from his older brother and stepped away from royal duties. Long before the world witnessed the growing distance between the two brothers, Diana had apparently feared such a painful future. A retired archive official and an independent legal representative carefully presented the authentication records. Harry examined every detail, including the archive number, the wax-sealed description, and the chain of custody. Everything appeared genuine. Standing beside him, Meghan noticed his hands trembling as he silently absorbed what he was reading. She softly called his name, but Harry remained frozen, overwhelmed by the realization that his mother's words had predicted a future no one imagined would become reality. As Harry continued reading, another shocking detail appeared. The archive records listed Prince William as a secondary recipient connected to Diana's instructions. Instantly, Harry's emotions shifted from disbelief to confusion. He began wondering whether William had known about the letter long before he did. Had someone inside the palace kept this secret from him while allowing others to know? Before Harry could process those questions, he reached another extraordinary note. Just 3 days earlier, the original letter had been removed from its secure archive location under the authority of King Charles. The paperwork confirmed the transfer, but offered no explanation for why it had happened. Even more surprising was a handwritten note attached to the file, stating that another sealed envelope was intended for William, but only after Harry had read the first one. At that moment, Harry understood this was far more than an ordinary family document. Princess Diana had carefully planned something that could one day force the entire family to confront the truth they had avoided for decades. Harry refused to let the discovery end with unanswered questions. Before reading the actual letter, he insisted that the original document be brought directly to him without interpretation or interference. However, reaching that point would require confronting the people who had been closest to the secret for years. The forgotten archive had reopened an old wound that neither Harry nor William had ever truly healed. Both brothers had always honored Princess Diana's memory, but each carried a completely different understanding of what her legacy meant. Now, her own handwritten message threatened to challenge everything they believed. King Charles faced a difficult situation. He worried the letter could reopen painful debates about the monarchy and create fresh controversy. Meghan, on the other hand, feared something different. She believed reopening old family history might pull Harry back toward the emotional struggles he had worked so hard to leave behind. Yet Harry felt he had no choice. Throughout his adult life, he believed many of his biggest decisions, including leaving royal duties, had been influenced by the lessons his mother had taught him. If Diana's letter revealed a different perspective, it could force him to question years of painful choices. At Windsor, Prince William quietly studied the archive summary while Catherine watched his expression grow more serious with every page. He remembered his mother once promising that both sons would receive something deeply personal from her, something no palace official would ever be able to change. Thousands of miles away, Harry struggled with a mixture of anger and hope. Meghan reminded him that palace procedures had often left him feeling unheard in the past, and she worried history might repeat itself. Still, Harry insisted he could not walk away. He believed ignoring the letter would feel like abandoning his mother's final wishes. Meanwhile, King Charles privately met William and admitted that, although he had known Diana had stored certain personal materials, he had never been informed about a conditional letter intended specifically for Harry. During that meeting, another archive report surfaced. It suggested the document had remained hidden only because someone inside the system had quietly protected a copy before the original could be permanently restricted. Under tighter archive rules, one unexpected name changed everything. William discovered the signature of one of Princess Diana's most trusted former aides, the same person who had witnessed her placing the letter into secure storage decades earlier. Surprisingly, that very witness had later approved the decision that kept the letter hidden from public knowledge. To understand why, Harry and William realized they would have to revisit the final months of Diana's life. The evidence suggested the letter had not been created because of a political dispute or palace conflict. Instead, it was inspired by one deeply emotional family moment when Diana saw her two sons walking away from a private conversation in opposite directions, each believing he had to carry the burden alone. That heartbreaking scene convinced her that one day royal duty might separate them more than any public scandal ever could. Determined to leave behind something that no future event could erase, she contacted her legal advisor that very evening and began preparing the message that would remain hidden until the moment she feared had finally arrived. Princess Diana's decision was not made out of fear alone. It came from a mother's deep concern after witnessing how differently her two sons were beginning to face the pressures of royal life. William was slowly preparing for the responsibilities of becoming a future king, while Harry naturally saw himself as the brother who would always stand beside and protect him. Diana worried that these very different paths could one day create emotional distance between them. During one private family meeting, William quietly admitted that protecting the monarchy might sometimes require hiding his true feelings. Harry immediately replied that if William had to carry such a burden, then he would always protect his older brother. Those innocent words left Diana heartbroken. She realized both boys were learning to sacrifice their own emotions instead of speaking honestly with one another. That evening, she made the difficult decision to leave behind a message that would only appear if the family ever reached the painful future she feared. Years passed, and eventually Harry and William finally met inside a private room at Windsor. There were no cameras, no palace officials, and no media waiting outside the door. Between them sat the sealed archive box that had remained untouched for decades. Harry's first question was simple but emotional. He wanted to know whether William had known about the letter before him. William calmly explained that he had only recently learned of its existence and had never seen its contents. Years of misunderstandings made trust difficult, and both brothers openly admitted that silence, distance, and painful assumptions had damaged their relationship. During the meeting, another statement from Diana's former trusted aide confirmed that the letter's restricted status had been changed after her death by senior officials who believed hiding it would protect the future of the monarchy. Instead, that decision had only created more confusion and unanswered questions. At last, the final legal approval was granted. The sealed box was opened, revealing Princess Diana's handwritten letter along with a short recorded message in her own voice. She did not criticize the monarchy, nor did she ask either son to choose one path over another. Instead, she expressed one heartfelt wish: never allow grief, public pressure, or outside opinions to convince them that they had become enemies. She reminded William never to let duty erase his kindness, and she urged Harry never to let anger become his identity. Her final request was simple but powerful. Before listening to anyone else, the two brothers should always speak honestly to each other first. Deeply moved by their mother's words, Harry and William privately agreed to protect the letter forever and never allow it to become a public weapon. Together they released only a brief public statement confirming that Diana's message was real while keeping every personal detail private. It was not a fairy tale ending, and it did not erase years of pain, but it marked the beginning of something far more meaningful: the possibility that two brothers could finally move forward by honoring the one person who had always wanted them to remain together. After reading Princess Diana's final message, the room fell into complete silence. Neither Harry nor William spoke for several moments as they reflected on her heartfelt words. They realized that years of misunderstandings had created a distance neither of them had truly wanted. Instead of allowing the past to control their future, both brothers chose to honor their mother's final wish by speaking honestly with one another.